Sun's come out. Yes. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, and today we have a book review for you again. So we are reviewing today Eve of Man by Tom and Giovanna Fletcher, and it was good. That's it. There you go. You can now leave. Yeah, so we are reviewing this today. It is the first in a trilogy. I have the second one over there that I'm going to start immediately after this video. So yeah, let's just get on with it. This is a YA dystopian novel is what I would class it as, and the point of view is of two people and it interchanges chronological order, but the point of view changes between Eve and Bram, so a girl and a boy, and they are at two kind of completely different sides of the societal spectrum at the moment. Now, on a whole, I feel like this trilogy will have a really interesting plotline, but don't get me wrong, it isn't something that we've not seen before. Like, reading this, I got major Hunger Games and Handmaid's Tale and Divergent type vibes from it, especially The Handmaid's Tale. So it's not something completely unique and unheard of, but the execution was pretty decent, to be honest. It was well thought out, and the world that Tom and Giovanna made is one that I am really down for. Like other dystopian novels, because a lot of the tech and a lot of the stuff they imagine doesn't exist, there is a lot of detail that is kind of missing. So kind of reminds me of in The Handmaid's Tale, when you don't really quite know how Gilead came into power and how that's now society. Same with Eve of Man. You kind of know, but you don't really get all the information you need as to how this new society has come about. So in that essence, I am missing some key details, but again, what can you do when it doesn't exist? So I think they could have maybe thought more into the backstory and more into the political climate of it to give it a bit more context, because I just think that that is so important in the wider aspect of the world they've made. They've just kind of glazed over it and gone straight to the characters, which again is important, but you need to build up the setting a little bit more. So this novel, and I'm assuming the rest of the series, does have like major like environmentalism vibes, reclamation of the woman's body vibes, reproductive right vibes, technological advance vibes, and power imbalance vibes, all key themes that you need in a real good feminist dystopian novel. And I would know, I did a dissertation on it. The attention to detail to the tech and the setting that the characters were in was incredible. So they really did kind of think about how certain tech would work. That is really kind of gone into, and it gives you a real futuristic sense. It really reminds me of, I want to say, like Divergent and also the Capitol in the Hunger Games. The settings that the characters would be in as well were all described brilliantly. So whenever Eve was in her dome, you could really get an essence of what everything looked like, and you could imagine the situation. So while it lacks some detail in relation to information and some more foregrounded of context, the actual setting description is really good, I would have to say. This is a bit of a spoiler, so if you've not read it, then you might want to skip forward a little bit. Eve is in this little bubble of the reality that people have made for her. Her reality starts to unravel really slowly, and she is a really intellectual girl. She is a little bit of a damsel, but that's purely due to her circumstance rather than her own being. So I like the way that they've gradually made Eve aware, rather than someone like a main character just dumping all this information on Eve, telling her that her reality is fake and all of that. I like that Tom and Giovanna made it so Eve would unpick it all herself. So she's then given more intellectual credit. She's more of that dystopian female protagonist that we normally associate in a world like this. She's very driven, knows what she wants. She's not that damsel in distress that you first think she is. She's actually a lot stronger. There was a few scenes in the novel that was a bit like, whoa, what's happening? Like, if all of this has happened just now, what's going to happen in the whole like trilogy? It's one of those that so much happened in this one novel that it makes you a bit apprehensive about the rest of the series, and if it will still maintain that pace and still be able to uphold all that intense action and all of that feeling that you were first given. You don't want it to just fizzle out at the end of book one. Now, the actual ending sequence and kind of the actions that go on in the ending and the climax were, I would have to say, kind of well planned. I think that was really clever, the way that Tom and Giovanna set it all out. But again, there were some details missing that kind of make it a bit unrealistic. I mean, I know that it's a dystopian book and none of it's real, but if it was a film, you would see like plot holes and a bit of missing things, and you would be like, wait a minute, how has he just got there when like 2 seconds ago he was here? Despite them being missing, it really didn't affect the storyline, it didn't affect the action or anything like that. So it's just something I realised. I was like, wait, how has he just gone from being here to over here? So I have to say, the ending was really abrupt. If it was just a standalone, or I didn't know there was going to be a series, I would have been not happy whatsoever. Like, just not happy. But the fact that I have the second book sitting on my shelf over there just gives me the confidence I need to know that it's all good. But yeah, the ending, I was a bit like, come on, really? That's what you're gonna leave me with? But overall, I have to say, if you're into dystopian novels, you're into feminist dystopia, you're into books like The Hunger Games and Divergent and like The Host and all of that sort of the stuff, then you will definitely like Eve of Man. I loved it, I have to say. At first I was a bit apprehensive. When it comes to like celebrity writers, I always feel a bit like, oh. But this was really good. It was well written, well executed, really good strong characters with their own internal demons and battles, a really strong subplot underneath it as well, and it was just really good. That was it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed my review of Eve of Man by Giovanna and Tom Fletcher. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, all of the good stuff down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! I'm still just need to eat some lunch.